Hey y'all, what's up? I hope y'all can hear me. Um, while y'all are tuning in, I want to say welcome. We made it another week. I while everybody's tuning in, y'all make sure y'all let me know where y'all coming from, where y'all tuning in from. But I also wanted to show, and I can't really show it all, but I got my absentee ballot in the mail, and for the last 2 days, I've been going through my absentee ballot, trying to understand it. And I'm kind of embarrassed, but it is a very vulnerable and honest moment for me that I do not know a lot of these people on this ballot for the primaries. And that lets me know just how big of a problem it is for us, because I'm literally going down the ballot like, okay, for Justice Supreme Court of Georgia, the Court of Appeals for Georgia, the Democratic Party suggestions and questions, the Solicitor General of DeKalb County, Tax Commissioner, um, Clerk of Superior Court of I don't know these people, I'll be honest. So what I started doing was some research, and I started going to their Twitter pages. I looked up their names. I found their names. I went to social media, looked up their Facebook, their Twitter to see if they had an Instagram page. And to my surprise, y'all, a lot of these candidates don't even have social media. So it's like, how do you even know who to vote for if you don't know them, number one, and then you don't know the issues that they stand on? They don't have social media, or those who have social media have private pages. So a lot of them lost my vote just off of that. I was just eliminating down the line. But like I said, it did, it was an eye opener for me that if I plan on being, responsible and voting for the upcoming primaries, which for Georgia, it is June 9th, which is next Tuesday, I got to do better. We all got to do better. So if you guys are voting in the primaries, if you have, or if you haven't already, and you have the ability to do your absentee ballot, please take the time and go through it. Take an hour to look at all these different names and research these people online so that your vote, you're casting a responsible vote. You know what I'm saying? So I just had to share that with y'all because I was looking at this like, I did see Rep. John Lewis. He got my vote. But it was a lot of people on here that I felt bad. I didn't know who they were. So yeah, we got to do better. And I hope this encourages and inspires y'all to look at your ballots. Look who is running in your local county, and all these other official positions that we probably don't even think about. But if we're paying taxes, we have children that go to school in that area. If we are trying to see a change in our legal system and our police departments, you need to vote. Okay. So my primary is June 9th. If you're in Atlanta, make sure that you are voting and getting out there. Definitely participating because we need everybody. We need all hands on deck. Okay. Vote in the primaries. All right. Okay. So, hey everybody. Now that I got that out the way, because I'm a little overwhelmed with it, I'm gonna actually put it over here so it won't be in my side eye, in my peripheral. I am going to talk to you guys today about a question that one of my writers asked, was just, really just wanting to do things the right way from the beginning, which is kind of hard because being a songwriter, it is it's a job where you never stop learning, and you always have to evolve. In addition to that, you have to be mindful of what is currently working and what's not. You have to stay ahead of the game, and you have to conduct yourself a certain way if you are writing as a songwriter to make money in the business. Now, if you just want to write songs just to say, oh, I got a song I like listening to, it's my song, you're not going to release it, you're not trying to sell it, you're not trying to pitch it, then have at it. You can do whatever you want. But if you are trying to have a career in the business, I strongly suggest that you guys take it serious. And, I'm going to share with you some of the things that I put together to help you through along the process, just, not getting caught up in things that really don't matter, and just really understanding how to use your skill sets, develop and cultivate and master, the art of songwriting. And hopefully, you'll be able to land on, projects that would get you, where you're trying to go. I will say the number one thing that a lot of songwriters, the mistakes that songwriters make, is just not having your business together. Not really understanding that this is a business. Okay. So you need to be registered with the PRO. I talk about it all the time. Are you registered with BMI or ASCAP? CSAC, of course, you have to be invited, but BMI and ASCAP, either or. Are you registered? If you're not, you need to be registered. You need to understand the basics of the music publishing business, because that is how you make money in the business as a songwriter. There's plenty of tools and websites you can go to learn about music publishing, but you can also go to all of the videos on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tammy Latrell, and just get to it. Literally go down my playlist and learn all that you can about the business of songwriting if this is what you're trying to do. You need to be professional. If you are a songwriter and people are requesting you to come to the sessions, obviously because, they may have heard you writing and they think that you're dope, or y'all just trying to collab and build chemistry, you need to be on time. You need to carry yourself in a way where people know, you're coming in to do work and you're not there just hanging out and, being involved in everything else instead of focusing on what you're there for, and if you are not you're not a business person, some people just don't have that. They just want to focus on creativity. That's fine, but at least have a manager, someone that is working with you, a publishing admin like my company, the Mezzo Agency, or someone that you are close to who doesn't mind doing your booking for you when you have to be at different sessions. They don't mind, shopping your material for you. Just have a team, because at the end of the day, everybody is not carved out to be super button up tight. A lot of people didn't work in corporate America and have the experience that I have, working, in intense environments where you have to maintain professionalism. And that's okay. But all I'm saying is, if you're trying to be in the business where you're interacting with people in different facets of the music business, you need to make sure you have either a team that is going to work on your behalf, or you need to, carry yourself, respect yourself, carry yourself with a certain amount of, professionalism, so that people can respect you too. And overall, it'll help build your relationships as well as your reputation, and have a good work ethic. Don't be lazy, and, really not show up, and I'm not saying just show up by being there. You can be there and still not be present, not be involved. And so I think that'll also help too. Another mistake that I think songwriters make is not being able to be found. Okay. Now, I'll bring this point up because this is what I dealt with last week. We were working on a very big catalog that I have been trying to close for the last month, but a lot of songwriters and producers on this major artist catalog cannot be found. They either don't have a PRO. I would go to BMI, ASCAP, can't find them, so no PRO. Can't find them on social media because maybe their production or their songwriter name that's on the split sheet is not what is actually on Instagram, or their legal name is what's on the split sheet, but their producer songwriter name is on Instagram, and I don't know that. And so a lot of times when we're trying to register songs and register paperwork, register your split sheets and handle paperwork, everybody that's on that project, sometimes they may have different names. Like, my name is Tammy Latrell Harris, but my songwriter name and what people know me by is just Tammy Latrell. But at the same time, if I went by TLH and I put on the form Tammy Latrell, I mean, if I go to Instagram and I'm trying to look for somebody named TLH because maybe I don't have access to knowing what my legal name is, it could be hard to find me. And so that's what's been happening, is that I'm trying to find producers and songwriters with different names and their legal name is not connected. I don't know their legal name, so I'm looking at this name and I can't. It's so many names on Instagram with the same username. It could be, off by a couple of digits, off by a couple of letters. But I just think if you're filling out split sheets, you need to state what your legal name is on the split sheet, as well as state what the name is that you go by, because you could have your legal name but you have a totally different production name, what people know you by, especially if you're working in groups as a production team. I think that's important as well. So I just think we just need to be mindful when you are doing business, and one of the things of having your business together is to be able to be found and be professional, and fill out your information correctly and submit your information correctly so that people can easily find you. Because I may not be paying you, however, I still need to appropriate your splits. I'm paying my artists or my writers that are on my roster, but I still have to appropriate who the split belongs to. But it's not, I don't have all of your information. And so when you're in these studios and you're getting notices that your songs are getting placed, that's great. But make sure that they have all your information. Hey, let me send you an email. Who's the A&R over the project? Who's the manager handling the splits? Let me send them send you my full name. I'll send over, my email address, my contact information, as well as my artist name on my social media. Like, what's wrong with that? You may get a shout out, on one of the songs, and, people may want to shout you out on social media, but they don't have it because maybe you don't even have a social media page. And so we just have to do better, right? We have to, make sure that we can be easily found as creators. I just got my hair done, so it's kind of sticking up. But we have to make sure that we are able to be easily found. And then another thing too that a lot of people I've noticed have not done is claim their Genius accounts. So Genius is another place that I go to look up writers and producers outside of ASCAP and BMI. And the reason why is because Genius will give me your entire discography based off of what has already been published on the digital media, the digital streaming platforms. So if I look up a certain producer and I see that this is his producer name, but I don't have his legal name, I can actually go to Genius and I'll find other songs based off of his producer name that he's produced. And then I can go then to BMI or ASCAP and find that song. And then I'm able to see all of the producers and songwriters and identify their name legally there. But what I'm saying is, if you are not claiming your Genius account that has your name, you can add a photo, you can add your social media there. And of course, your discography, as the DSPs publish your music, once you get placements, it'll automatically update in those credits. And so if that page is just stale and there's nothing there, then it is really hard for you to be found again. It's just going to be a page that says, are you this person? So I would say if you are getting placements, 9 times out of 10, you have a Genius account. Go to Genius and go claim your account. Look up the artist that you received the placement on. And when you find their song, find the name of the artist, then look up the song that's on their album that you produced or that you wrote on. And of course, your name should be on there because it was submitted with the credits. Go ahead and claim your page and create your page, update, add your photo, add your bio, add all your social media, because people like me are going to be looking and comparing splits when I'm registering songs for my clients, and I need to be able to find who you are. And the best way for me to find who you are and to confirm that you are who you are is if I'm able to also look at your discography right there on your page to see what all you have done. And I could say, oh yeah, he did produce for Young Thug. Oh yeah, I remember that. He did produce for XXX Tentacion, Oh yeah, I see he did produce for, 2 Chainz. And so I know for sure that this is the same producer because his discography is listed, or maybe I'm looking for his name and I can go and pull those songs into BMI or ASCAP. I can pull them up and find out what his legal name is because I know his production name because his production name is listed on his Genius page. So just different things that you guys should think about. It's just a common mistake that I feel like a lot of songwriters really don't understand or get. Another mistake I would say is song structure. Sometimes songwriters should be very careful about structuring their songs, because if you are pitching your songs to people who are, you're wanting to shop to them, you're wanting them to be able to possibly purchase your song and get it placed on their project, they need to be able to understand each segment of your song as it transitions. I should be able to listen to your song and be able to tell where the intro is, where the first verse is, where the pre-hook is, where the hook is, going back into the second verse, back to the hook again, then maybe like a little breakdown or something. Maybe there's a vamp or even a bridge. A lot of people don't even do bridges these days, but I should be able to understand all of that as a part of your song structure. And if that's off, it could be a turnoff for the listener. And so you just don't want to, mess up your opportunity because your song is all over the place and I can't really tell what part I'm on. So that is a little bit of one-on-one that, you can, book someone like myself as your mentor to help you with just understanding how to structure your songs properly. That's also a part of music critique, songwriting critiques that I do as well. If you guys are interested, for sure, book a songwriting critique at tammyluttrell.com. Click on the shop button and purchase a critique, and I'll be more than happy to assist. Another thing I would say about song structure, is your song conversational? Is it engaging? Does the song have a gradual buildup? Are you actually telling a story? Much like writing a story, writing a book, it has to have all those different elements. Is it a climatic, part of the song where you just like, man, like this did something to me, And I think a lot of times songwriters really don't think about the fact that you have a listener on the other end that you are telling a story to. So make the story good. Make it easy to understand. You're taking them on a journey. So allow that journey to be, something that they really, really want to continue to listen to. Otherwise, they're going to flip it and go somewhere else, go to another song, go to another one of their favorite songs that actually tells the story, that evokes emotion, So just think about that. Like, don't just write a song and just, really not put thought into it. Like, really take the time to think about your concepts and, really take the time to think about what issues could other people relate to, that you can write about, Get inspired by topics and things that we're currently going through right now to be able to, put together a song that's dramatic, that's really thought provoking, Another thing I would say is like using inconsistent rhyme schemes. Like if you're used to rhyming a certain way, sometimes how you rhyme in a rap could be different from how you rhyme in an actual song, like an R&B song. So just make sure that, everything goes. Like if you're rhyming one way in one part of a verse, like don't just randomly throw a word in there just because you're trying to make it fit before the hook comes in. Some people just use like random words to just like make it just to be done with the verse. And so now you've just rushed a verse and you've killed it because it didn't end well because you just threw a word in there that probably didn't even rhyme, And so I would just say be a little bit more thoughtful with making sure your patterns and your rhyme schemes are consistent throughout those verses. Another thing I would say is changing the song from first person to second person to third person, like right in the middle of the song. Like be careful about using, I, me, she, they, all of that kind of stuff. If you are writing a song from first person, then keep it that way and really understand what your pronouns are before you just start writing. And then it kind of throws the listener off because they don't know if the song is supposed to be about somebody else or if it was actually about the person who is singing it. And that's really important when you're trying to pitch a song to someone, because the artist needs to be able to relate, whether it's about them or whether it's about someone else, but you just don't want to confuse the listener. Another thing I would say is don't be attached to songs if you're trying to be a songwriter. Don't be attached. Because if you are so attached, it's going to be very hard for you to let songs go and move on to the next song so you can focus on your next placement. And I will tell this story from my point of view because I started off as an artist. And as an artist, every song that I did obviously was from my experience and what I went through, and nobody could feel it like I could because it's my experience, it's my story, it's my song. Well, guess what? If you're trying to sell the song, then you have to be willing to let it go so that someone else can actually perform that song with the same amount of feeling, if not better, than you performed it. And it's possible. Like, you have wonderful songwriters, but they may not be the best performers. You have wonderful songwriters, but they may not be the best artists. And so you just have to know where you fit. And if you are hired to be a songwriter, come in the room, show up, and be a songwriter. It's not your moment to be an artist. And so you just really need to make that distinguish that you know, that decision while you're in there. Like, okay, I'm not here to write for myself, so I can't I can't keep everything for myself, and I have to be willing to let the song go. And I have to be willing to write about concepts that, yeah, it may come from experience, but you also need to write it to where someone else can relate to it as well. And you just never know where it will land. But I say, don't try to hold on to songs. Don't be so personable with a song that you don't want to let it go. Because, man, you never know where it could land. Mainly because it was a good song is gonna be the reason why it gets picked up or gets placed. Mainly because it's a good song. But when it becomes a classic, or the reason why it gets blown out of the roof, is 9 times out of 10 because of the person who performed it. You know what I'm saying? And just because you went through it don't necessarily mean you can deliver it as best as a performer or an artist. So again, don't be so attached to your songs. You know, you really get close to mastering being a songwriter when you are clearly able to write and detach yourself from songs, provided you have a concept. Okay, but you're able to write it to the point to where any artist within that genre can understand it and wants it. You know, for real. So just know that if you are here to be a songwriter, it's not always about you. It is about a quality song that anybody within the genre that I'm working on could really hear that this has potential, and they could take it to the next level so that it can become, that hit, that you desire it to be. Yeah, that's yeah, I had that issue. I was an artist first, so it was like, dang, I don't want to turn this song in. I might want to release this on my project. No, just turn the song in because you got hired to be a songwriter. So write the song, and it was the best decision I made as a songwriter because I have so much flexibility now. It is the lifestyle for me, and so I just think that sometimes we get so caught up in ourselves. A lot of it is just ego. Let the ego go. Another mistake I think songwriters make is just not being a good co-writer. These days, collaboration is so much fun, especially if each of you know, and I've spoken about this before, but especially if each of you know what you're good at. So if you are, a great top liner, you come up with these awesome melodies and words for the hook, that's really going to set the song off. And you may not be the one that's going to go deep into the storytelling as the lyricist in the verses. You may not be the verse writer who can really break down the overall concept of the song. It's okay. Find someone who does that. Collaborate with people who are not in not collaborate with people who do better in areas that you don't, so if you know you're good at writing hooks and verses are not your thing, you need to find someone who's dope at writing verses and make it fun, and vice versa. If you know you like to storytell and write verses, sorry y'all, it's a dog outside by my window, but if you know that you are not really into writing the hooks but you're great at storytelling, then you may want to focus on writing the verses, maybe coming up with different melodies and stuff like that for the verses that are different from what would be in the hook, or find someone who's dope that's just great at writing hooks, and y'all work together and come up with great songs. Don't try to do everything on your own. And even when you get invited to sessions, don't try to hog the session because you think you the best writer in the world. Like, nobody cares. Finish the song. At the end of the day, the A&R that got you in there, your manager that booked you in there, the artist who requested you to be in there, whatever the scenario is, they requested you to co-write. They didn't request you by yourself. So get over yourself. Do you understand? Like, really understand that this is not always about you. Yeah, everybody telling you one of the dopest songwriters in the game. Okay, cool. But what's a dope songwriter if nobody likes you and nobody invites you to the session because they don't like your attitude, or they think you too cocky, or they think that, you're not open to, criticism or open to suggestions, like, everybody has their own ideas. Let everybody contribute their ideas. It doesn't necessarily have to stick every time somebody gives an idea, but be willing in the session to try new ideas and play them back and let everybody collectively vote. Do we like this part of the song? Y'all like this part that I did? If they say, no, let's try to switch it up and try something else. Be like, okay, cool. Let's do something better. You know what I'm saying? But I just think sometimes ego gets involved, and I myself know, because I'm a woman working with men majority of the time. And so, I mean, I have a few stories of just being in the studio and, a dude just want to come in and dominate because he's also an artist, or he's trying to become an artist, and he's just trying to show off in front of all of the other writers. And we just looking like, dude, like, it ain't that serious. Like, come on, like, give me a verse. give me a hook, like, get over yourself. Nobody cares, And so, just got to be really careful with that. Your reputation follows you. So if you are hard to work with, if you are not great at collaborating, if you don't like to listen to other people's ideas, if you don't like to try different things, step outside of your box and take an idea from someone else, try an idea that someone else is suggesting, then you may not necessarily need to be a co-writer, And I'll just say, these days, if you look on these credits, it's a lot of co-writing going on. So if you have not mastered that part of co-writing, songwriting, you may want to take a stab at that. Let that be a goal this year. I'm going to learn how to be better as a co-writer. I'm going to learn how to work with people. I'm going to learn how to, take suggestions and ideas. I'm not going to be all about myself. Like, you have to make that decision if you plan on having a career that is going to last, because sometimes publishers will literally send you a song with a hook already, and you have to deliver that verse, and you have to turn that verse around, and it needs to mesh well with the same chemistry and energy that you hear on that hook, so that it sounds like it was literally done all in the same room at the same time. And so that is another part of, songwriting collaboration. You may not automatically or all the time know the person that is on a song with you, but you still need to bring about a bridge. Your verse, your pre-hook, your hook needs to be able to bridge the song segments together, period. Okay? So that's what I would say. Just think big. It's not all about you, and it's not just your song. Another thing, don't take stuff personal. Baby, we just here to write a song. Like, if you all in your feelings because they didn't use your part, or oh my God, maybe you just got an attitude and now people are trying to build and like finish the song. There's one part left, but you over in a corner somewhere, or you on the phone and you doing something. You bye. Go ahead. It's not your night. It's not your night. We're here to do one thing, okay? Finish the song and make sure that it sounds good. Listen back. Go back and do some rewrites on some certain parts, but the goal is to leave out of the studio with a quality sounding song, okay? Another mistake I would say that songwriters make is not thinking in the future. A lot of times, I always say this. I mean, this is kind of like my life's mantra. And it is that I always feel that my future is my current, and my current is my past. Okay? My future is my current, and my current is my past. And the reason why I use that as my mantra as a creator is because when you open yourself up to the possibilities of thinking about things that don't even exist yet, you have then unlocked limitless potential. Okay? When you really grasp the thought that I am open to receiving something that has not yet been done, or maybe a thought or a concept or an invention or an idea that has not yet been done yet, you are unlocking limitless potential. And so that is mainly how creativity works, is that you're just free and you're just allowing things to come to you, and those ideas that are coming from the heavens or coming from your ancestors or coming from God, whoever it is you want it to come from. You see what I'm saying? But when you are living in your current, this is just what you see. This is just what it is. However, when you are looking at this as this is my current, but where I am here, I'm thinking of the future. I'm a visionary. I'm thinking of things that have not yet came about. You're allowing that to come to you naturally by doing whatever it is that you do, whether you're going to church and you have your spiritual, your spiritual Sundays, your sacred Sundays, your sacred moments, you meditate, you pray, whatever it is that you do, could be someone who just likes to paint and they're not even a painter, but that's what gives you inspiration. Whatever it is that you do to tap into that. If you live in your current, you are in the past. Okay? Y'all look at Beyonce. Beyonce ain't never released an album when you knew she would. She always came out with something when you didn't, when you least expected it. And that's why everybody went crazy like, yo, Beyonce about to drop a album. Twitter going crazy. Instagram going crazy. Because Beyonce is way ahead of everybody. She's already thinking about the next thing. A lot of artists are like that. A lot of the bigger name artists that are doing the most groundbreaking projects are literally working right now on something that you have no clue about. You know what I'm saying? And it's because they are here in the future. Even though this is their current, this is really the past, because it's passing second by second. But the future has yet to be created. And so you have to be able to allow your mind to expand. So tap into that creative flow when you're writing your songs, and really, really think about your trends, think about concepts, ideas, listen to conversations that you're having, listen to what people are talking about, listen to what, the mood is in the air, what are people having issues with. Make it a song. Make it make sense in a song. Not just be a conversation on the phone, but actually create a concept off of that phone conversation. Do something that has not been done before. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that has been one of the keys to my successes. I have had songs that I've written like 3, 4, 5 years ago. And I mean, literally just last night around 12 midnight, I received a call from a song that I wrote 3 years ago. I was going through a horrible relationship, and I was just like, I need to get this out. Literally wrote the song, and I just got a call that is being placed, And I came from a place of emotion, but I wrote it in such a universal way that no matter what when you listen to the song, you can relate to it in some way. And it don't even necessarily have to talk about love and relationships. It was just the usage of my lyrics that really made it stand out as a global recognized song that anybody in the world could listen to and say, I'm inspired by this. You see what I'm saying? And so that's important, is to just always think about, the grander scheme as a writer, and think about the future. Be innovative in your writing. If you were to pitch the song to your favorite artist and say, I wrote this song for this particular artist, do you actually think that it sounds better than what they already have? Hello. Does the song that you're pitching to them, does it sound better than what they already have, than what they're already doing, than what has already made them successful? Are you taking them to the next level with that song? You understand? So I just think we need to be a lot more thoughtful with that. And again, think outside the box. Everybody is not a trendy writer. You could be the type of writer that just really focuses on classic big records. You're not really concerned about what's trendy. And that's okay. Just know what you are good at and continue to do it. And eventually you will get it placed. It will land. You cannot give up, because the music industry itself is a marathon. Life is a marathon, but the music industry is a whole nother beast. And it is unpredictable. And you may think you have every person, all your ducks in a row figured out, and you don't. And so you just really have to be mindful that I would be doing this regardless whether or not I was making money from it. Because if you go in with the mindset of, I'm writing songs because I want to make money from it and that's it, it's going to be very disappointing. Songwriting definitely takes skill. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes being under and having mentorship. It takes studying, watching documentaries, reading books, listening to your favorite songs, your classic songs, which is a part of studying, studying the trends of what's going on, what's working, what's not, the lifespan of songs. Like, it's just so many different things that, that you have to consider if you are wanting to have some staying power in this business. You could be a dope lyricist and great with words, but when you write songs, they sound outdated because you're using like old melodies from the 80s that are just not trendy right now. It's not working right now. It doesn't mean that it's not going to come back around, but it may not be working right now. You see what I'm saying? And so you have to really think about, are you willing to make those type of changes? And study and see what's out there, but try to make it your own at the same time. You don't want to copy and just blatantly be writing a certain way when it's just not your style. I always say, don't force nothing. Like, don't force anything at all. Let creativity flow. Let your melodies flow. Let everything flow. Let the music inspire you, and give you the melodies. And then after you hum those melodies and lay those down, go back and transcribe them and turn them into words. That's like basic structure. Basic creativity of how people, develop and write songs. It's just, coming up with that melody first and then lay those melodies down, go back and piece it together, segment by segment, lyric by lyric, and see what comes to you. Another thing I would say is don't get greedy. Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy. And have integrity in your business when you're working with people. If you have a manager or you have a team behind you that's working with you, don't put your team in situations and try to cut them out because you're trying to get closer to the people that you think are your friends, because y'all been in a studio for a couple of hours and all of a sudden you feel like, oh man, we really click. Don't do that, because the industry is so small. Like, you just don't know who knows who. And there may be times when you literally are in the studio thinking that you and this person is best friends and y'all talking and they telling you their business and you telling them your business. And then after the session, they calling your manager, or they calling the engineer, or they calling the record label executive, telling them like, man, don't ever bring her back. Like, she was so this and that. Or, man, he was so cocky. He talked the whole time telling me stuff I ain't even want to know. Like, you never know who knows people. And don't be talking about your team. Don't be disloyal to a team that's putting you in a room. Like, I don't understand sometimes how people will really just forget how they got in those situations. You know what I'm saying? But it happens where you can be in the studio, and like I said, you done got cool with somebody, so now you think y'all cool, and then you want to cut your manager out, or you want to cut the executive out that helped you get in the door, or you want to cut out, somebody. You find out that, oh, well, shoot, I could just go through you. Well, shoot, all right, then I'm gonna just go back and tell them, man, shoot, ain't nothing popping over there. Like, come on, we gonna find out. Because you gotta remember, if it wasn't for us, the executives, the managers, your admins, whoever, to put you in this situation, you wouldn't even be in the room. Facts. We're not making this up, as real. So don't get too caught up with yourself thinking that you're bigger than what you are, because at the end of the day, nobody cares. We just trying to get a song done, get the song played so everybody can get paid and we all eat and take care of our families. All of that other stuff, cutting people out, that stuff comes back to bite you. It's called karma. And karma works really fast in the industry because the industry is changing like this. You understand? So don't make those type of mistakes. Don't make those type of mistakes. I never forget, I was working with this girl group, and I had worked with so many different girl groups. If anybody has been following my career, you probably know I probably worked with about 4 or 5 different girl groups that I thought was just gonna go. I was like, oh my God, I got the hottest girl group ever, And, it's like, females are so funny. Like, women, we gotta do better. We have to do better. Everybody in the room, if you are female, if you're a male, I don't want to make it more of a sexist issue, but I'll just speak for myself, being a woman working in a male dominant industry. There are times I have to be aggressive. I have to show more masculine energy because of who I'm around. And I don't have a problem with it because I know how to turn it off. But sometimes it is necessary. But when women are in the studios with each other and you guys are supposed to be collaborating, don't be acting funny. Don't be acting shady. That is your sister. Y'all are in here to break bread, and you're in the room doing songs with men. So you definitely don't want to be catty in front of the men, because then it becomes funny and they're laughing at you. They're not like taking sides. They're laughing at both of you because y'all are all working together, but they're still looking at you as competition. Okay? So if you are being catty, being disrespectful, you're eliminating yourself out of that circle, and they probably won't invite you back. Period. So we just got to do better with dealing with each other. And as far as the girl groups go, because I had kind of jumped off and went on a rant, but one girl group that I was working with, one of the girls who wasn't even contributing to majority of the record, she was not the best singer. She was cute, but she was not the best singer, and she was not even a dope writer. She all of a sudden decided that she wanted to start making decisions for the group when we had already finished the whole album. And it just literally killed their entire deal. I had so many people checking for them. You know what I'm saying? And it got to a point to where her decision and her being a bad apple, she spoiled the entire bunch, because now she's putting stuff in their head and they're looking at like, oh, well, we don't really know what decision to make, because now the deal is on the table. Now it's time to sign. You already have a project. You know what I'm saying? And all I got to say is she killed the whole situation. And I don't even know whatever happened to them girls after that. But she was the one that didn't have to me, she wasn't the most talented. She didn't have the best vocals, and she wasn't the best writer. So, and she was beautiful, but at the same time, that only is going to take you so far. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you bringing to the table? And if you are just going to be cute, just be cute. Just be cute. Play your position. But don't mess it up for your whole team, because then you become selfish. And your selfishness actually killed the entire deal. All right? So those are the type of mistakes. Like, I can go on and on about that kind of stuff, because people get so greedy and they get so like caught up in their egos, you know what I'm saying, that they just mess it up. And it could have been from an insecurity thing too. And then a lot of times, guys, it's fear. It's fear. Because you mean to tell me we've been together as a group for 3 years and haven't gotten this much done, but all of a sudden we're with Tammy Latrell and we have knocked out 11 songs in a period of 6 weeks, and now we got a full album ready to go? That can scare people, because some people are so used to dysfunction that when things are finally going right, they end up blocking their own blessing. They end up pushing away what's good for them. They end up pushing away what has been presented that could possibly change their life forever. And so we really have to operate from a place of abundance and not from a place of lack. Do you understand? Really be mindful of that, because you could really spoil your opportunities and your blessings. God could be sending a blessing to you and it's saying, hey, it's right here for you. It's your season. But you're not even paying attention to it because you so caught up in, oh my God, and how did this happen? And when did this work? And da da da. Like, come on. Why are you even in the business if you're going to try to kill everything that is coming to you? Especially if it's coming to you. It's not a forced situation, it's a flow. Do you understand? So, I can go on and on, but yeah, that is some of the common mistakes that people make as music creators and as songwriters. Like, and I'll tell you another thing too. Like, don't burn bridges. Don't burn bridges with people. Be cool, be kind, be professional, like I was saying earlier. Don't burn bridges, because I'm telling you, it will come back and bite you. It will come back and bite you. And the industry is very small. Think about how many people are in the world. Like, in the world, right? I'm talking about over like 8 billion people. And I could be wrong, but from what I was, looked at a couple of years ago, we were like close to like 7.7 billion. Now we're probably at 8 billion people, right? All of these people in the world, in the music industry, makes up so much of a small factor. The influence is huge, right? But the artists, you only got one Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? You only have, one Taylor Swift that's in her lane. You know what I'm saying? It's a very small industry. And so what I'm saying is, if it's small on that grand scheme of big artists, imagine how small it is in the network of songwriters and producers that are, trying to get on these projects. Now, don't get me wrong. Because of technology and the exposure, where, now you have managers who can actually start, soliciting for material online. People can email, DM people direct now, compared to back in the day when you had to just know somebody to get a song placed. Like, it's easier. The pool is much bigger as far as songwriters and producers. But the ones that are bubbling up, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And so you end up knowing someone, or someone ends up knowing you, and who you may not have yet been introduced to, they may know. So you have to be very, very careful about how you move in this industry, because you could end up saying something about somebody, bad mouthing, and talking noise, or telling somebody else's business, spreading rumors. Don't get caught up in all of that. Like, this is business. This is not nothing personal. Keep your personal stuff at home. Keep your beefs at home. I've been in studio sessions where I particularly didn't like the person that I was in there with, that I got assigned to work with. Get the song done. It don't matter. Get the song done. Put your issues aside. Get the song done. Just saying, you could have a number one record with somebody you don't even like. Who cares? You got a number one record. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, we just got to get over ourselves and just stop making it, harder than what it is. So, and you never know who you may have to, you never know who you may have to run into again as well. And you just don't want it to be a nasty situation, you know what I'm saying? Because you constantly always being negative and got something to say behind people's back. Like, just don't get into all of that. All right. So anyway, let's jump into some comments. I know I kind of went on and on this time, but I mean, I gave y'all some jewels today. I'm just, with everything that's going on, I didn't really feel like coming in like a teacher, like, okay, today we're going to talk about, This was a question that I feel a lot of us need to be paying attention to, that we can apply The gems I gave today, you can apply it to everyday life. And right now, that's all I want to do right now, is just inspire you guys to be able to not only move through and flow through your craft as a songwriter, as a musician, as a producer, but also just in life, period. All of those gems, you can use them in just regular life. All right. So let's see what we got. Hey y'all, what's up? I've always said that in this industry, people are watching from afar, and you would be surprised who they are and who they know. So true, so true. A lot of people know you before you know them. Facts, facts. So make sure you on point. Carry yourself a certain way, because people paying attention. Remember Usher's quote on 106 in Park about Cisco saying he shut any R&B vocalist down. He told Free and AJ, cockiness leads to failure. Yes, it does. Great quote. Great quote from Usher. All right. Greed and ego can mess up a good thing. It sure can. Damn, she was bringing that major negative energy. Yes, negative energy, y'all. Let me tell y'all, negative energy, stay away from it. Oh my God, it's so toxic. If you are around people who are negative, it is the most draining. And I'm pretty sure you've already experienced this before. But when you are around people who just always complaining and got something negative to say about something or somebody, yo, it is the most draining. And I get it. We all go through things. But one thing we have to be mindful of is sometimes all that negativity, you just need to take that and give it to God and pray over it and be like, Lord, help me deal with this issue, because this is how it makes me feel. Help me to be able to deal with it so I don't make other people feel that way. You know what I'm saying? So I don't put and dump that on other people. So please, y'all, protect your energy, especially now more than ever, because it is a lot going on. We are in hard times right now. Definitely a lot of uncertainty going on, but God does not change. He is forever here. He forever reigns. Divine source. And so you want to make sure that you stay tapped in to him, so that you don't get caught up in all of this other minutia. All right. Let's see. What else y'all got? Are y'all laughing? I know I be all my little facial expressions. I'm mad I've been late for the past 2 weeks. It's okay, girl. Let me tell you, last week, anybody was on my live last week? Oh my God, I was so emotional last week. It was too much going on. I shouldn't have done the live, but I didn't want to cancel because I'm very big on integrity. I ended up refilming it and answering questions. I talked about ISRCs and all that stuff, but you can go to my YouTube channel and watch it in full. The actual the replay, because that last Friday I was a mess. I'm a Cancer, so I be super I cry when I'm happy, I cry when I'm sad, I cry all the time, and it's a part of my strength and my weakness. So I embrace it, it's who I am. Yep. Somebody say congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you. Whatever I'm being congratulated for. Someone asked the question, if I'm posting music via social media for the sake of pitching and promoting, but I don't want to monetize it, is that a wise idea? Indigo, you've asked me this question before, and I've answered it before. I was telling you that if you are trying to post or pitch a song for the sake of promotion, you need to monetize it. If you're just trying to pitch and promote, what is the gain off of people just being exposed to your music if you're not able to reap any benefits off of it? If you're just trying to expose who you are, that's great, but you're missing, there's money on the table every time it's being streamed. You see what I'm saying? Go get your money. That could be a light bill, that could be a phone bill, that could go towards something. And obviously, if you're trying to promote music, people, you want people to listen to it, and those listeners are also a part of your royalty. So collect them. Don't overthink it. It's not hard. Question: since my daughter has had her consultation with you, people have been asking her to write and sing on projects. However, as a new 16-year-old singer-songwriter, she wants to know how much to charge. Think about their budgets. Ask them what they are willing to pay and meet somewhere in between. I would say your starting number, if you're starting off as a songwriter, start off at $500. Make them pay half up front to get started, and they pay the other half when it's done. But have that number in your head. because they may come back and say, well, I got $1,000 budget, and you don't want to turn down that $1,000. So I would just say, as an indie songwriter, if you're trying to get started, like, you definitely need to charge, between, 500, 250 to 500. And, just continue to work. And as more people start requesting you, hike that price up, baby. Supply and demand. Thanks for the advice you shared with us in our conversation. Oh, you're welcome. Y'all had a consultation. Thank you so much for the one-on-one consultations. Let me tell you, I enjoy the one-on-one consultations just as much as y'all do. For one, I get to learn about you and what you have going on. I'm always impressed about, people who are just really stepping out on faith and really trying to, put themselves in a position to better themselves in their craft, and if you are booking a consultation with me, obviously you're there to learn. And so I enjoy it just as much as you guys do. I want to teach you. I want to shed light and give you wisdom and all the jewels and tips and stuff, so you don't make the mistakes that I may have made. And so you just don't go into this situation as a music creator being blind, because this can also help provide for your families. Like I said, pay a cell phone bill, pay a light bill, whatever. And, you want to be able to not just perfect your craft as a music creator, songwriter, producer, but you also want to know how to be able to profit from it. So I enjoy it too. Thank you to each and every one of you who are watching my lives, who've invested in yourself and actually purchased the consultation. Hey Tammy, what's your personal opinion on those pay for entry songwriting and lyric contests? It depends. I would say look at the actual awards. Does it contribute to a grand prize? Are you willing to make the investment? Have you seen anyone who actually won from the contest? Like, do a thorough check, before you invest. I think, when you're doing contests and stuff like that, if it's a grand prize there, it's like the lottery. Why not? If it's not too much, but just really be wise and try to do a little bit more research on the contest, how long it's been around. Are there any other previous winners that you can reach out to see if they actually benefited and won from the contest as well? I would say radio station contests are by far the best because they usually are free, and you can, go online. They usually have like these little user generated contest platforms now where you can just upload your video and showcase your talent. And that's just great exposure. If they're putting you on their website and everybody has the opportunity to vote, participate in that kind of stuff, those type of contests, because you need the exposure anyway. And then you can always send your fans, your friends, your family there to be able to go and vote for you and show support as well. All right. Is that $500 plus credits? Absolutely. Not credits, but publishing. I think that's what you were trying to say. If you are an independent songwriter and you're starting low with your fees, you always want to make sure publishing is included in that. That's not something that is to be left out of the deal. That has to be included, okay? Because the issue is not most indie artists that are trying to, get their sound together, get their album done. Not a lot of them have big budgets. You know what I'm saying? And so you at least want to make sure, hey, I'm covered on both sides. Even if they can't pay you as much on the front end, you definitely know if they're going to be promoting and marketing their records, you want those royalties coming in on that back end. So you want to make sure that your publishing and, of course, your credit is always included. All right, we got a minute and 43 seconds, so I'm going to try to scroll through this. When a songwriter signs a publishing deal and they get a big advance, do they still get a fee every time they get a placement? No. It all depends. Your fee has to be negotiated with by either your publisher, your manager, or be included as a part of the production deal. So you want to make sure you have someone that is going to be speaking on your behalf when those songs get placed, because you may not always get a fee. They may not even think about you because they're too busy trying to buy the actual master from the producer. And so you just want to make sure that you are including your fee inside of those placement deals. That way it is on the table whether or not they discuss you or not. Talk to the songwriter, to the producer that you wrote the song with, and let them know, hey, if they buy that song, this is my fee. So can you either bump your fee up, a little bit so I can have a percentage of that, or this is the fee that I would want to pull out of, whatever it is that you're selling the track for. But just try to work it out with the songwriter, with the producer that you're working with, because you may not always get a fee up front. But usually when you get pub deals, their goal is to negotiate and handle your fees for you, but it doesn't happen all the time. So just be on point. All right. Will the podcast be dropping after Rona is over or nah? The podcast will be dropping. I have the name for it, but I'm not revealing it tonight. Y'all have to tune in next Friday. I will reveal it next Friday. You're going to love it because I have a whole theme around it. And thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Make sure you follow me, all things Team Latrell, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and I will see you next Friday. Love you.